It's your boy Tipsy Japan back with another episode of ATAS across time and space. I'm here with my co-host Ace, who needs no introduction. But allow him to introduce himself for number 49. Go get him, man.
49, man. You already know it's your boy Ace of Cross Culture coming back with another one over here on TPC Japan, Tipsy Japan, however you want to say it. You already know it's the people's champ in the building. I'm introducing him, and I'm not even the one streaming. What am I doing, man? What am I doing?
Yeah, tell him, man. Tell him because this is an important episode. This is one step before the big 5-0. This is one step before we get over the hill. One step before our first official giveaway on the channel. And it feels real good to be here. Maybe a few moments behind, but we're right on time. You may not be there when you want to, but you'll be right on time. Nah, man, that's how this whole thing works, right?
Not always there when you call, but we always on time. Come on.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying, bro. All right, crucial. How you doing, man? How you doing? It's been a wild week. I know it's the end of the first month of January. It's already done. A little update. What's going on?
I mean, for me, it's been real crazy at work. It's been real crazy trying to get stuff out. As far as content, I'm still far behind. I thought I was ready to get things going, but I'm still trying to pour over everything. I'm not trying to feed into my perfectionist thing because if I do that, then it will never get done. I'm just trying to get out there. But blocking out the time when you have 2 kids is hard. It's been a crazy month. Like, it's only the first month. It's been pretty crazy. But what about you over there?
Over here. I mean, this month, there's been a lot of changes and at work. As I'm basically, in a new position at work. It's one of those positions where you step up. And last year was a year of transition for me, like getting into that position. This year is like, all right, this is month number 1, and it all counts for this year. It's not the fiscal year, it's not like the Japanese year. In Japan, usually the year starts in April or whatever, right? Yeah. So I was thinking like a young boy. I was like, all right, so everything that I'm doing right now, that's like going towards last year. No. Right now, at this moment, you are putting in work for this year. All right. And so that, it kind of helped because that puts me ahead, of the game. I was thinking I was doing catch up at the end, but actually you're doing early work at this point, So it's been good. It's been good. Like I'm feeling I'm feeling myself, but I'm feeling like I'm on top of things with where I am right now, Yeah, it's a good place to be. But at the same time, with the show, I have really wanted to get out there with space, and get some content around that, explaining to the audience like what that's going to be about, framing it, piloting it, testing it out with folks, putting them in that space so they can see what's going on and what's that supposed to be. And I think you're doing the same as well with time and everything, like filling out the time and explain what that time is supposed to be, it's gonna happen real soon. It's gonna happen real soon. It may be that episode 50 has to be that pushing, that push out, into the world. But it's gonna happen real soon. Now that being said, there's a lot of good books that have been sliding me in different directions in life too. So when I think about like the next book for the channel, after Homo Deus.
We already got the next book though. We already got the next one.
Right. Reminder, because it's been a while. We haven't talked about the next one yet.
I think no, we talked about it before. I think it's called Game Changer by Reggie Fils-Aimé. Yeah. We got to do that one. I did get a recommendation from one of my friends, one of my best friends growing up. And the only thing is that it's not on Scribd. That's the only thing. I bought the book on Google Play because I was like, and he's recommending this book. Let me give it a listen.
Yeah.
I haven't touched it because if we're gonna do it for the channel, I don't want to read ahead
Hmm.
because then
You don't like that. You ain't gonna like
oh
that.
no, because
Yeah.
then I'll be like, oh my goodness, and then what about this part? And there's like, whoa, we haven't read that yet, so forget I said that.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna read it for the channel, I try not to read ahead. I try to stay exactly where we are so that I'm not spoiling anything. Nothing gets too crazy.
Right. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to keep it around these script books because that has the widest reach, and it's something that we can offer to our guests as well. As you guys can see in the comment section below, all you gotta do is hit that link, and you get 2 months of script for free. I get another month of script for free. Like it's a win-win. What is script? What has script been for you?
Oh, script has been something that I subscribe to, just as you should do to TVC Japan. Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon. Shameless plug there. No, it has been very, very enlightening just to see how many books, audiobooks, and periodicals and PDFs and so many things are just out there ready to be accessed. It is a very big library. Like I can't call it anything else. It's like you walk in and it's different stuff. It's not just religious books. It's not just secular books. It's such a wide variety, wide base. So I personally, I like it. I was talking to my wife about it. She doesn't like it, but to each their own.
Okay. What didn't she like about it? I mean, that's good to know as well.
I don't know. She asked me if I was doing the podcast, I think a couple weeks back, and I wanted to listen to the audio book in the car while we were driving back home.
Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, it's right here for Scribd, It's like, oh yeah, I know Scribd. I didn't really like it. So I mean, that means that she tried it.
Yeah.
She went through the trial maybe, and then just decided not for me, which is, to each their own, like I said.
But it's absolutely possible. Like I know somebody that stepped in for like 5 minutes and then stepped back out. I was like, when didn't you like? And I didn't catch what it was, that they didn't particularly like about it. I know that if you use some of these other services, like it's $15 a month, and you get one book. I'm gonna put them on blast. I mean, they're making their money, but it's $15 a month for one, or you could pay $10 for all.
For all, yeah.
I don't know. That's an easy win for me. I don't know. But the easy win, or well, for some people, hearing about it is one thing, but believing is seeing, or seeing is believing. How do they say it?
Seeing is believing is how they say it.
That's how they say it. For today's show, believing is seeing. Right. We are on chapter 4 of Homo Deus.
Part 2.
Right. Part 2 of Homo Sapiens. We're on part 2 of the book, chapter 4. If you listen to the audio, that's 30 minutes into chapter 4. All right.
No,
but the thing is about chapter 4.
Starting at 30 minutes to the last part of chapter 4. So it's the second part of chapter 4.
Yeah, starting at 30 minutes into.
Yeah.
Go back and listen. Yeah, starting at 30 minutes into chapter 4, which there's only 20 minutes left, which means that we'd be starting chapter 5 as well.
Yeah, so it's like just the rest of.
Right. I got you now. I got your number. All right. So what is believing and seeing? It's an interesting section for sure. But it really comes down to like how reality is shape shifted by mankind, right? Believing and seeing. Man, he took some shots at everybody's. Oh man, like. When you but let me just say that though. Seeing is believing. I've heard that before. When you hear seeing is believing, what comes to mind?
Such it's weird. It's weird.
Mm,
First thing that comes to mind is probably magic tricks and how
mhm,
seeing is not always believing.
mhm,
Then what comes to mind is the the Bible, the Greek line
mm,
of thinking,
mhm,
because originally, the Hebrew line of thinking was believing is seeing, and
mm,
then because the Greeks conquered, or the
mm,
Romans really,
mm,
the Romans conquered, therefore now believing is seeing, and we get so many things from the Greeks
mm.
and Romans. Yeah,
Okay,
or
okay.
seeing is believing, but
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Romans.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to go in a little. I'm gonna go a little deeper on that because he talked about the Sumerians, and that's
Mm,
not something that we particularly talked about last week. We did like touch on writing a bit,
yeah, yeah.
but the Sumerians like went a little bit deeper because they gave us two things. It was like writing and something else. Right? Writing was the
So
big part.
I think it was a
Oh, go
writing
ahead.
system and the number system, but
Writings and numbers.
I
Mm.
could be mistaken.
Right. Like the reason why that they needed the need to write things down and have their like numbers, regarding things, because basically people had to get bigger. So society was getting bigger than our brains. Needed
Mm,
some way to account for things um, that existed or that we wanted to express, and it's like, all right, well, you know what? If I just write down on this, when I think of Asia, yeah.
mm.
They wrote down things on turtle shells. I'm like, coming.
Oh
Yeah, not
gosh.
coming. Turtle shells, right? And the first characters, like it's still characters to this day that don't look that different from how they looked on turtle shells. Like
Hmm.
that was what they wrote on, and that's what kanji like was originally written on. It looked like hieroglyphics, but it's similar to that. It really is. And um, so my thing is they said they were writing on these objects, basically tablets, the beginning of tablets, to keep
Yeah.
track of stuff. And now we can our memory is extended, like our brains can do more and just represent ideas on paper rather than just inside of our heads. That's a huge difference from that whole 60,000 years of human existence. Now for the last 12,000 years we're starting to write things down,
True, true.
and take the capacity off of our brains to actually now do more things than we could before. If I write this down, then I can communicate something to people that, even if I'm not there, that whole communication, that whole kind of computer, that whole, not computer, like not an artificial AI, but it's something like having a bot, you know.
Hmm.
I don't know if you work with bots and everything at work, like, Power BI and all these things, but it's basically like a machine that will do your job for you. You know,
Hmm.
Literature is a machine that'll do your job for you. It'll tell the story that you don't have to tell that story again.
So I mean, if you're talking about just the easing the
Mm,
mind's computational capacity,
capacity.
yeah. So like, if you're thinking about your CPU
Mm-hmm.
and the fact of if you use 80% of your CPU, you start to see your computer slow down. It's the
Mm,
same thing with us,
mm-hmm.
where we're using writing, the systems that are in place in order to take away from that 100% of our CPU, like our computing power
Mm-hmm.
personally. But now, what are we doing with the rest of it? Because back in the day, you used to have to memorize phone numbers. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I still have phone numbers memorized just because I had to for so long.
Mm.
But now, nobody's memorizing phone numbers. Just like, oh, well, got my phone, scroll, scroll, scroll,
Yes.
name. All right, that's it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
is the the technology and the taking away from our computational power actually
Hmm.
a good thing or a bad thing?
Hmm.
That's the big question.
Well, I mean, it's been the thing that has helped humanity shape the whole planet.
Hmm.
That act right there of taking the load off of our brains, you know, to move on to do better, bigger, and better things. That's what we've done, since our beginning of history. Yeah,
I see what you did
like
there.
yeah. I mean, and I went back to some of my writing. You guys could see this in the YouTube version of the channel. If you listen on Spotify, you may not see this banner, but in Sapiens, we were talking about at one point. One of our banners said memory overload, but now it's memory easing.
Hmm.
Okay, this act of easing our memories in order to do more. Once upon a time, yeah, Japan, like not even once upon a time, one generation behind mine, like this next generation, maybe one and a half. I mean, my kanji teacher, right? His
Hmm.
generation, these guys remember every single kanji, not kanji, emperor of Japan, all the way back to the
Oh,
first one,
jeez.
first and last name in order, right?
Hmm.
Like how long they reigned. It was a 4-year reign. It was a 2-year reign. Like that was just it. That's what you did.
Serious.
That- In elementary school, names.
Oh my goodness.
I couldn't even tell you the first one. I couldn't tell you this one. No, I could.
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, but hey, not my emperor.
Mm.
But I'm just, in the United States, I think that was how education was kind of done, even into the early 20th century. It was memorizing the facts.
Mhm. Rote memorization is
Rote
what we call it.
memorization, exactly.
Yeah. But I mean,
You know,
now how many people can actually name, all the presidents?
mm, mm,
Not I. Not
not
I.
I, not I. How can you name? How many can you name? If I say I got five. I got 5 presidents. It don't
Five.
matter what order. Would you say you got 6?
I think I might be able to do 6. Yeah, I think I could do 6.
Okay, ask me a number that you think that I might have.
I think I could do up to 8. So could you do 9?
Woo! 9 presidents. 9 presidents. I feel like I have 9 in the chamber somewhere. But like now at this age, I feel like, all right, between the two of us, we should have 10.
Oh yeah, 10 is easy.
Between the two,
10 is easy.
10 presidents. You
Just
said 8.
yeah. I said I could comfortably do 8. I feel like I could search my annals for ANOLS. ANOLS.
ANOLS. I was thinking ANNULS, the annals of history.
A null. That's a null.
That's a null and void response. Okay. All right. So within 1 minute, let's get 10.
Oh, dang.
Within 1 minute, let's get 10.
All right,
Starting 10 seconds from now.
So wait, between the two of us.
Yeah, I mean, you can give me 8, and I'll give you 2 more.
Oh, dang, that's crazy. All right,
but that means that
Let's
you
go.
get first dibs. Starting now.
All right, so we got Washington, George Washington. You got Abraham Lincoln. You have Andrew Jackson. You have Garfield, Taft.
Full name?
Yeah.
Okay, Garfield.
Theodore Roosevelt. I mean, then you want to go more current, of course, Obama, Trump. Yeah, that's 8.
Okay.
So I mean, give me 2.
George Washington Sr.
George Washington
Sr. No, George Bush. George Bush.
George H.W. Bush.
Yeah, George Bush Sr. G.W. George, the younger one. Yeah, George Bush.
Yeah, you could say George Bush.
And then Nixon.
Yeah, Nixon. Yeah.
FDR. Yeah.
Franklin D. Roosevelt. Yeah.
I'm saying there's a lot. Yeah, even the young boy. Who's the farmer? What's his name? Yeah. They always got jokes on this dude. Jimmy Carter.
Oh, Carter. Okay.
Yeah, man. They always got jokes on Jimmy, man. Like I like him, yo. He was good. He was good. So 10 is not a problem. So
Mm-mm.
it's what is it?
But
44,
that's like
45?
almost just 1/5. I think we're up to 47, 48.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. So like
Oh, Barack,
we're approaching
Barack wasn't the
50.
44th?
Was he
Barack was
44th?
Oh
Oh,
man, we
yeah.
didn't even
Maybe I'm thinking terms.
well
There's more than
then
50 terms that have been served out.
no. I mean Barack was I think it
I
was
thought he was
44, and then Trump would be
46
45.
though.
We didn't even say Biden. That would be number 46, I think. Well, we showing you how
He's current one.
that's what I'm saying. We didn't even say the
Oh.
current president. Hopefully he stays in for his whole round. The next one could be Kamala.
Mercy. When I search how many presidents, the first thing that comes up is how many presidents have been impeached.
Oh, okay,
That's the
I was
first
right.
thing that
I was
comes
right.
up. Like,
Mm.
yeah.
Our the early bird crew, remember, did back me up on Biden being number 46. Just gonna put that on screen below.
Number 46.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
Yeah, it felt like he was like 46 because Barack was the 44th president of the United States. Like the way that they said it, like it's stuck in my
Okay.
memory. Like, all right, now we started counting. At that point, it was important for me.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean the things that can get done when we take our capacity off of just rote memorization to what are you going to do with the knowledge, right? Like that was what we were doing before, but it was like we didn't have writing documents, or we didn't have computers to do the computing. Like we always find something else to do the heavy lifting. This is a human the human condition. That's what we want to do. We make machines so they can do the heavy lifting. We make the lever so it can do the heavy lifting. Oh no, I think we should lift it by ourselves. Dang, go ahead with that. Next generation is gonna find a way. Right?
Yeah, for real.
Building pyramids. I'm gonna have the Israelites build the pyramids. We're gonna find some other way for somebody or something to do it for us, right? So I think that's uniquely human, and I don't think we can really like walk away from it and say, all right, well, whatever, I'm gonna do it myself. All right, you got that. I try to tell my wife to do something the hard way. She will quickly find the like the direct path of least resistance, and it's done.
I mean, that's what who's this guy? Bill Gates. Bill Gates said that he will hire lazy people because they will always find an easier way to do a difficult task.
Believing it, believing it, say it. I believe that. Right? Yeah, no doubt. People will find like the easiest possible way to do something, right? Or if it's not necessary to get done, then they just won't do it. But that's it's something beautiful in that, but it's also something quite destructive in it. Like when you're trying to, man, those humans.
Mercy.
So now, writing things down, that it started to take a turn for the interesting. This chapter started to take a turn for the interesting when they said that not only are people writing down, important information in order to do jobs, but now writing down the stories that describe things in the supernatural, or describe what people are, or what nature is, or what gods are, and so on. He took some shots. He took some major shots. So
no games.
Did we? Yeah, he didn't play no games. I mean, I can't back every single thing that he said because being part of a spiritual movement, as it were, it's like I'm not outside of that argument. But he basically explained that his view is that all religion is also, one of those constructs. It's one of the things
Mm-hmm.
that we wrote down, and started to believe. And then, if you don't believe that thing, son, you won't get very far,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, why do we, if I think he had this analogy is like, all right, um, Nazi father talks to his son and said, "Dad, why do we have to hate the Jews or whatever?" Son, that's just the way that it is, and for these set of reasons, yeah, heart wrenching, but for these set of reasons, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that, or if you don't kind of fall in line with that, then things will not play out well for you. It's like the same kind of story that was told, about us, young boy just coming up in the States. And it's like, all right, black people, why do we have to see them this way? Well, son, if you don't, then, world is going to, it won't go well for us as a country, blah, 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 you may not see why yet, but that's just the way that it is. And the writing supports it. This writing supports it. And at the time, it was the Bible. You use the Bible saying, all right, well, slaves obey your masters. That's what it says. So, for their own sake, there it is.
That's what we got to do. Yeah.
That's what we got to do.
But I can agree with some of what he was saying. And the reason I have to agree with it is because there was this movement called prosperity gospel, in which it was like, oh, if you only believe, well, yeah, it still is, but I think a lot of people are starting to come to terms with that's not the way it is. A lot of people were behind this, and the mega churches and the huge pastors were saying like, oh, if you only believe in the word of God, then you too can have a Rolls Royce, you too can have this and that. And it's like, that's not what Christ promised. Like, first off, he came and lived like us so that we could have more. Yes, cool, but not in this world. He did not say like, oh, if you just believe in me, then you'll have all the money that you need. You'll have all the houses that you need. He did promise that if we believe in him, our burdens will be lighter. If we believe in him, we will not be wanting for bread. If we do what he asks, then we will have our needs met. But that's not to the extent of over lavishness. That if I believe in God, then I'm gonna have a Ferrari. No. The new thing, a Bugatti. What color is your Bugatti? But we have to, even if we get to that point where we have more and more, if we're believers, then we have to see how we can benefit other people. So spending the money on a Bugatti versus spending the money on top of the line Toyota, and then using the rest of that money to help those in need. Those are two different things, but still the same amount of money, just two different ways to spend it.
Right. And it's like, if you look at the life of Jesus, like, that's, you're supposed to, follow me, like, do as I did, right? Like, he was not, riding around on his on a silver horse Silverado, I mean, he had his donkey for one day.
One day. That was
he just walked. Right?
Jesus was homeless. Well, not really homeless, but yeah, he had his home base.
The whole earth is his footstool. So
yeah. I mean, he had his home base, but for the most part, he's going town to town, walking, like, where he could find shelter. That's where, that's just what it was.
Yeah, I mean, but like saying it's hard. It's hard for a rich man to, get into heaven. Was it? Got to pass through the eye of a needle.
It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the gates of heaven. But I mean, there's connotation in that, because we think of like, oh yeah, an actual needle and a camel, but the eye of the needle was actually a gate.
An actual real gate.
A gate that you could pass through. So it's like you have the huge gate, which a lot of things can pass through, and then you have like on the side, you have the eye of the needle, and it's literally just, you know, people can walk through there, you know, with their belongings and stuff. It's a smaller gate.
It's a narrow gate. Yeah,
a narrow way. Yeah. So I mean, you have people who have said it forever, like, oh, you know, got to thread the needle. You know, you have to get through these things. And original was just a small gate to the side, but a camel couldn't pass through there. So it's like we think of it in our connotation as an actual needle because those things have been made. Back then, I doubt that there was a needle, at the very least, one that small. You know, they were using looms. Yeah, you know.
They had looms.
Shuttlecock, you know.
Right.
Like, that's
they still have them. They still have them. They
still use them. But it's not the main way. And now you don't have to take your clothes to a tailor just to mend a rip. Like, oh, let me take out my needle and thread.
Right.
Call it a day.
See, like even in that right there, as we telling a story, or recalling or regaling, like, you know, I've never touched the loom. I'm saying I've touched the loom, right? But we're able to. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've touched the fruit of the loom. All right. But we can tell those stories because of the literature, because of the written record, because of the study of those written records. Like, it's so much work that got done because things are written down. And we telling the stories of how Jesus did things or how he explained these things. Like, back in the day, you had the oral tradition, right?
Yeah.
And people just regaling the stories, telling it again and again and again and again. That's your whole job. Is all you do is just tell the story all day so that people can keep it in their minds and see it through hearing it. But we saw it, you know, what faith is by seeing. Hold on.
Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Right, that wasn't the one I wanted to touch on. It was
faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the
word of God. There you go. I said it at the same time. There's no lag. See, like, I accessed the same memory of that verse in you, and I was like, that's not the one I wanted to say, right? But I'm accessing that because of what was written down, what was said aloud, what was sent into my ears and written on the slate of my heart, right? Because it's what was written down. It wasn't that I saw it myself. So the fact that these things are scribed, you know, the fact that these things were written down, like, that's extremely important, extremely potent. But then, what about everybody else's? The Vedas, you know, what about the Qurans out there? What about, you know, every other belief system? They have it because it was written down. They believe it because it was written down, and it's lasted, you know, throughout the eons, the ages, you know. Yeah. So how can we I mean, it's not on me to discredit them.
No.
That's
and I feel like the thing about organized religion is that we say that we're looking for the origin and the outcome. And that's just what it is. Looking for the origin and the outcome. So you believe it as truth, therefore you live your life out that way. Oh wow, you just had that one on deck, huh? So
that's spot on.
The banner that's on the bottom of the screen for those listening on audio only is religion. So the thing about organized religion is, yes, it has been written down. We talked, I can't remember if it was on stream or off. I'm pretty sure we talked about on stream because we talked about the Apocrypha and the canonical and all of that.
Oh yeah, the night babies.
We had to, the Council of Nicaea had to look at all these books that were seen as part of the Bible or somehow credited to be religious works, and then
Mhm.
had to say, okay, well, we got to take this one out because it's not really aligning with everything. Or we got to take this one out. We got to take this one out. We're going to keep this one and this one and this one. I mean, they kept in all four of the gospels, which
Thanks.
I mean,
Thanks.
they say there's the problem of the synoptic gospels is that they're all just a little too alike. And they say like, oh,
Mm.
it's possible that one person wrote it and then the other person was copying off of it. But
Mm.
if you go through all four gospels, you see that there's different things that are emphasized, different
Mm.
things that are brought out, and
Mhm.
they're actually from four different viewpoints. And
Yeah.
of course, Luke, there's a lot of people say, oh, yeah, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were all disciples. Luke was not a disciple, he was a doctor. He wrote based on gathering all the information. So he wasn't there. He was just like, all right, you know what? I gotta do my research. I gotta do my research. Let me get a pen and a pad
and write it down.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just where we landed on it. And for religion, yes, things were passed down through the oral tradition. The Exodus, the book of Exodus, the first time the 10 commandments were given, it was promised that they would be repeated every year. And there were certain things done in the temple every year, the Day of Atonement. The law was supposed to be given every year as a reminder, because people weren't writing and reading and all of that. So the book of Deuteronomy literally means,
I'm going through the Torah. Oh man, Genesis, Exodus, and Deuteronomy. Go ahead.
To give again, like the second reciting of the law.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not going to get into everything, but
wow,
that's what it was. It wasn't meant to be just, oh, you know, here's the 10 commandments. Okay, you got it. All right, we out. No, every year. Hey, this is the God who has brought you out of the land of Egypt. You know, establishing that relationship.
Yeah.
Going through the first four and saying, okay, this, if you love God, this is how you treat God. Going through the last six, if you love God, this is how you treat his children. Boom. All right, now we know how to treat each other, so that it was memorable, so that you know, oh, Day of Atonement is coming up. All right, so we're gonna go over the law again. So my little ones that are just born in the last year, they're gonna grow up in this tradition. But
they would go to the temple and like listen to the whole thing. Yeah.
It was a second gift. It was not like think of it as the inauguration of the president.
Okay.
Yeah, it happens once every 4 years, which is not as often, but you know when it's gonna happen because it's on everything. It's
on every channel. Yeah. All you can hear is like state of the religion address. At this point.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah. Wow. But that'll remind you of where you are, right? And it'll be very clear to the people. And it wasn't that everybody was literate, right? Now everybody's literate. Now everybody's writing. It's a different world, man. It's a different world from when, you know, it was you know, Uncle Moses going up to the mountaintop, talking directly to God, and then he gonna come down with 2 tablets. Like, I got 10 sentences written right here. All right. This is it. All right.
Look, not even the 10 words. Original 10 context, words? 10 words. So I will say this: English is a very ineffective language. It is an extremely ineffective language. You have to say so much more to say so much less. So let's say that, let's just take Spanish, because I'm more versed in Spanish.
All right, see.
If you say comió, that's literally he ate. One word to say he ate. So now you compare that to English, which is 2 words, he ate, versus comió, which is 1 word.
1 word, get it done. Yeah.
So a lot of Middle Eastern languages, you know, I'm not going to break out my Greek and Hebrew, mainly because I can barely remember syntax for those languages.
Oh, okay.
But it was way easier to say things. So let's look at thou shalt not kill.
Okay.
That would probably just be one word in a negative context. So not kill. All one word though. Versus thou shalt not kill. It was just don't kill. But it was all one word. Effective. Just distilled. Just boom.
Yeah. Korosa night.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Japanese is even better than English when it comes to that. Like,
you don't have to say the subject every single time. It's very clear from the verb alone. So the 10 commandments are only 10 verbs.
10 words,
10 words that you already knew that it was talking about you. So you don't have to say you shalt not, thou shalt not. What is all of that?
All of that.
What is all of that?
That's English. Because it was you got to look at the super convoluted way that the Bible has been translated. So the Bible, it was translated, the Old Testament, we're just focused on the Old Testament. Old Testament was originally written in Hebrew. Then it was translated into Greek. And that's called the Septuagint. Septuagint translated into, I think, Latin, then German to English.
Okay.
We have since gone back straight to the source and translated. That's why we have so many versions of the Bible, because we had the original Bible, like the King James version, was done through all of these different translations. Then you have other Bibles that went back to the original context and just said, okay, we're going to translate it straight from the foundational text into English. So the King James is wooden because of all the translation that it has been through and trying to still keep that same context. So the these and thous, that's more of a Greek and Hebrew type of thing for the understanding. Because there's so many in Greek and Hebrew, or well, in Greek, you can have the sentence of the subject of a sentence. There we go. Multiple times in said sentence. And because things are cased differently than English, I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my keyboard because I'm trying to keep my train of thought.
That's heavy. That's heavy. You know, I mean, like you could, and I don't want to take from the point, but it's like for a human being, a young human being, when they're coming up, and you got these, little human beings right there. You said you pop it for two, like, so you can see them negotiating with language and okay, you gotta use this and this to express yourself. Okay. And it's like at that point they're open to, okay, well, I have complex thoughts that can be expressed in this way. No, my thoughts are being formed right now because of the words that you're saying. You're giving me words, you're feeding the words, and those are forming the thoughts. Is it the words forming the thoughts or the thoughts forming the words?
Well, I mean, I think it's the thoughts. Nope, the words forming the thoughts. Because, I mean, you have thoughts. You always have thoughts. But there's a certain age that you come to where age of enlightenment, I guess, when you know the age of actualization, like what would it be called? When you then realize that you are a person, that's usually when your first memory is. You're just like, okay, well, I remember this. And I know that we talked about that on the stream a few weeks back. Just knowing like, okay, when was your first memory? And that's when you became actualized. Okay, I am a person. I am a being. So there's the thoughts, those thoughts, but then there's no words beyond that. Then somebody tells you, oh, are you feeling sad? Yes, I think I am feeling sad. Oh, why are you feeling that way? And then they're giving you the words to express yourself.
Or giving you a chance. They could be giving you a chance to explore those feelings because the word they give you a word, that's similar to that. It's like if you'd only have one word for sad, are you sad? Yeah, I'm sad. Okay, well, you get over it. But how sad are you? Yeah, buck up. Are you are you melancholy? Are you sorrowful? Are you depressed?
Depressed. Oh, dang.
It's a whole series of like a lot of depth to that each one of those words touches on a different feeling that maybe you had or may not have had or didn't realize how to express. You had something going on inside of you, but then sometimes there's suggestion, right? Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have that idea before, but now that I take some time to explore it, maybe that's me. Maybe it's not me. If people tell me that that's me, then maybe I am that.
And that's the hypochondriac within us all.
I'm telling you, like, and the thing is, like, these words, we say that words or language is alive.
Oh yeah,
we say it.
Definitely.
We say it all the time.
Definitely.
We believe that it's alive, therefore it's alive. We make it alive, therefore it's alive. Is the word alive?
We breathe life into the construct of, therefore it must exist. Yeah, I mean, just jumping back to what Yuval Noah Harari was saying about religion, it's like it's a construct. Like, if you don't believe in religion isn't going to hurt. Like, religion doesn't have feelings, it doesn't have pain receptors. But if we say we don't believe in it, then that's just it. But we also have to breathe life into it if we do believe in it. The same thing with, well, to a certain extent, money. Same thing. I mean, the worth thereof, because there's no way that we have enough gold to actually back up all the dollars that are outside of the reserve. And that's where we get inflation. Ting!
But it's like, collectively, we believe in it enough to give it life and to give it wings and to give it legs. Or we have words for all of those things. That is actually what we're doing. And it has a huge impact on every aspect of our lives, period. We invent the country. We invent the company. We invent, or, he said that man invented the gods. We invented the pharaoh. We said that he's, a god, and this is the things that he's responsible for, and that religion is just organizing, the organization connected to that we interface with the religion in order to, make contact with the god, whatever,
There's a lot there.
The god or the gator. Or, it's so much.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Because it was weird because they talked about Sadek, I think. Sadek, and how he was as an alligator, this basically the god of the Nile and all this stuff. And when that first original alligator died, they had to replace it. This remind me of like the class pet. There was an episode of a show called Recess. Yeah, I'm showing how old I am right now.
Ooh.
But it was around this elementary school, and of course there's K through 6. And the 4th graders were saying, oh, our class hamster Speedy is dying. And everybody remembered the hamster differently in the upper grades because it was a different hamster each time. That thing died so many times, and it just replaced. But the concept of Speedy was there because Miss Grokey, made it that way and breathed life into the concept of the pet Speedy, so much so that all of the children believed, even when they got older, that this hamster had been living for 3 years. But
That's deep, man. That's real deep. And it's quite a rabbit hole, but I appreciate you guys following us down that rabbit hole. It's been wonderful, these 49 episodes leading up to this point. and this is our writing. This is data. This is zeros and ones being lined up, and delivered to you via whatever device that you can use to connect to this thing that we made up called the internet. It's real and it's happening.
Oh yeah.
All right. It's your boy TPC Japan. Telling you, get a pen and a pad, write it down, make it real.
Yeah. All right. So
Because
I see that the banner is there to wrap up, but we got to talk about the giveaway. We can't leave them hanging on the giveaway.
Okay.
All right. So this is how it's going to go down. If you're listening to us on Spotify, you're going to have a harder time doing this. I'm usually the one that uploads the episodes. I'm going to try to get this one out so that you guys know what the giveaway is about and how you can access it.
Okay.
What we're going to do is your entries will be in the comment section, not the live comments, the actual comment section. Your comment will be one entry. But if you get other people to comment saying that you are who sent them, not only will they get one entry, but you will get a bonus entry. So then you would be at 2. So if I'm commenting on TPC Japan, hey, I really liked what you guys were saying about Speedy the hamster. Cool. One entry. I get my sister to go on TPC Japan and say, hey, Ace sent me, and I just want to say I like what you guys are doing. Boom. I get a bonus and she gets entered too. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a big raffle, a few episodes out, because we're going to have to tally everything up from episodes 50 and 51. Yeah, we're doing it on both channels. You have no excuse. So you can get just if you yourself were to comment on both videos, then you could get 2 entries right there.
I can get 2?
Just yourself. And if you tell somebody else to go and comment, then you can get it could just be a whole raffle of you. Just
okay. I think I understand now. So I got to get on cross culture, cross C culture, cross X culture. All right, and I got to get down on TPC Japan, leave a comment on both, and then have somebody else do the same.
But they got to say that they sent you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they got to mention you by name, like your YouTube handle.
So what is it? Something specific they have to say?
No, all they got to say is so and so sent me, or I heard about this from so and so. If we see your name in their comment, then that's who we're gonna credit it to.
All right. Blah. We're gonna surprise them on what it actually is, or are we gonna announce that on 50?
We're gonna have to surprise them because logistics are a little crazy. But
all right, just leave a comment in the comment section. All right, from 50 and 51, not even for this one. All right, but
not this one. No. 50, 51.
All right, Sage, the stage is set. All right, I can't even talk no more, man. It's been wonderful, and we want to provide something for you guys. Make sure you leave a comment in the comment section, not in the live thing, but in the comment section. All right, make sure you put it in the right place. All right, they got it. Ace, hit them off, man. Let them know.
You already know. It's Ace of Cross Culture. Until next time, stay prayed up. Be blessed.